what we're going to do is make sure that you get to know the schedule, the rundown. This is going to be a really cool show. So again, guys, thank you so much for coming on today. Thank you so much for joining the special podcast because we're kicking off a spectacular September here. You guys, I am live from Staples. I'm handling my business. Knew I couldn't get back to another area, so it was definitely important for us to get on in here. So definitely, if you are in the room, put your glower up. Put your glower up. Hello there, brother CK. Can you hear me? Okay.
Hey, how's it going?
It is going well. I am live from Staples, not Staples Center, right? I wish. But live from Staples, definitely wanted to make sure that we kick off our spectacular September with introducing the MX Media Group. I thank you so much for always bringing the business, the professionalism to be a part of it. We see we have Miss Maxine joining us today. Let me add her in. Okay.
Hello,
Hey,
Hey, hey, sis Queen. How are
how are
you?
you?
Hey, hey.
Okay, how's everybody?
I'm well.
hey.
I'm well. Yeah, we're all cool. Miss Mama, tell me what city or what state are you coming from, or what country?
Okay, I live in Tampa, Florida. I'm originally from New York, but I live in Tampa, Florida, which is,
Okay,
of course, the United States.
I used to move. I used to move. I used to live in Miami, and so I'm very familiar with Tampa. So very good. So it's good to know we're East Coast time. We know Brother CK is West Coast time. Um, I'm going to do
Okay.
this. I'm. I want us to introduce the MX Media panel group, and what I'm going to do is just let people know. I want you to let people know. Let our voters know what specific day you're going to be doing your show and what you're going to be discussing on your show. What's your show's theme? So you guys all know me. I am Courtney Omega, Glow Omega. We glow live at 5 every Wednesday. We do F Bomb Friday on Fridays. And of course, this upcoming Saturday, which is the first Saturday of every month, we are doing the State of the Melanin Address. So thank you all for joining us today. We see we have the Paisley Dispatcher. She's a sis of mine. We have Palmetto. We got a few other people, and they're coming in. As you come in, guys, please put your blowers up. Today, we're going to be talking about what the MX Media Group is going to be bringing to the YouTube street. I am almost, I am almost there. I just got my official invitation to start doing YouTube live. I'm too excited, so that means I can start doing it from my phone now too. So we're going to be talking about your channel and growing your brand and using networking to do it. So I am going to shut my mic off. I'm not my mic. I'm sorry. Shut my screen off and I'm going to allow you two to introduce yourselves, and then we are going to get into the hot button topic of network, and increasing awareness for your brand and growing your channel. All right, thank you all for coming in today. Let's glow live.
Okay, so I guess you want me to go first or you, CK? All
I'll
right,
go
I'll go
first.
first. My name,
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
okay, go ahead. Okay, I'll go first. My name
All
is
right.
Omonike. I go by Omonike. Uh, Let me tell you about myself. Actually, CK is the one who encouraged me to have my own channel. So I'm always grateful to him for that. He's like my mentor. Um, and I started the channel not too long ago during the so-called pandemic with the COVID. I am by trade a medical technologist. And what I do, I test blood specimens for HIV, CBC, total blood count, things of that nature. And my channel is about being safe, sane, and healthy. So I like to give ideas because a lot of people right now aren't working, they're depressed. So I give some ideas on how to get out of that depression, how to be, how to motivate themselves. It could be doing the garden, it could be cooking healthy foods. I try to be plant-based, but I must admit I had some fried turkey today. So, that's what I'm about because to me right now, from what I see, people are panicked. People are panicking because they're out of work. But I believe there are opportunities out there, and you have to look within yourself. And sometimes you need encouragement. So that's what I'm about. And you could look at it through nature, getting busy in your garden, growing foods, cleaning your home, believe it or not. Um, I also believe in being proactive. I am about, how can I say it? Preparation is the key to success, right? For example, I put a video out on having a COVID kit. And what a COVID kit is, it's simple. You just have a Tupperware, you have your gloves, because you need gloves. Uh, you also have your sanitation, you call it sanitizer, and you also have your mask. And I talk about having the two types of mask, which is the disposable mask and how long you should wear it, as well as the cloth mask and how long you should wear that. And I go into other things as far as skincare because a lot of people comment about how smooth my face is. I made a second part to that because people were saying they're breaking out because of the mask. So I've made a video on that. And these are simple things, simple regimens. So, that's what I'm about. Hello? You guys are
Okay,
there?
yeah, I'm CK. I'm CK with Screen Learning Channel. I have 4 YouTube channels total. Screen Learning Channel, Parkland Media YouTube channel, For the Love of Vegas, and Plato's Cave. I dropped the link for Amanike and myself in the chat. If maybe a mod can copy and repaste those, so the link will be able to have a hyperlink to it. But my content is about investment, wealth creation. Sometimes it's true crime. Sometimes it'll go into uh, adult interaction and also um, current events and sometimes even celebrity news. So that's pretty much what the different topics I'll be having as far as like panels whenever we do panels or whatever. And so my days to do panels are Saturday, Sunday, Monday until the Monday slot gets filled back up, Tuesday until Amanike is good to go for Tuesdays, and Wednesday. My start time for my panels is 3 p.m. Pacific time zone, 6 p.m. Eastern time zone. And also, in addition to the panel times, I'm going to be doing a morning show and trying to commit to an evening show, whether it's live or pre recorded.
Oh, yeah. And I want to say that I'm new with all this technology. So I've just been approved to do this StreamYard. So you guys bear with me.
Yeah, I'll do Tuesdays until you're good to go.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, because it just got approved. So,
So I don't know if Courtney Omega is still there. We're done with the intro. If you want to roll into the topic.
I also want to say I try to look at things from a holistic point of view. I know CK when before I had my channel, we would talk about certain things, and I would interject spirituality.
Yeah.
And I'm not a Christian. I practice Ifa, but I don't push my we don't push our spiritual beliefs.
Right.
But I
Right.
interject here and there, with some of my videos. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get the light. Okay.
It's okay. It happens because the
Right?
sun, yeah, the sun will trick you. But yeah, I know the guy Neo. He's kind of the same way with just kind of taking like baby steps with introducing the spirituality. Because a lot of people
Right.
really aren't. A lot of people are real big on Catholicism, Catholics or Christianity, but people really don't realize that there's like over 1,000 different belief systems, and we're basically energy beings, and a lot of people aren't ready for that. So taking it baby steps, I can understand, because if people knew that perhaps that their Western religion was remixed from something else, they might end up losing their mind. And every people basically has like their own god, or
Exactly.
or whatever they believe. But it's real narrow view, or I think it's oligoph. It's just basically Western world, well, specifically America. I think, but really, you could say North America. Pretty much everyone believes it's just one, and their one is the real one. Everyone else is fake. So yeah, I can understand,
Mm.
kind of sprinkling a little bit of spirituality, and just letting people know that eating healthy is a little bit better than not eating healthy, and just praying about it and thinking that you're good to go because you're not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because even in my spirituality, we believe in prayer and doing certain rituals, call it bow. And I always say the elbow is really the elbow. Elbow, you have to put in the elbow grease. You have to
Right.
do the work if you want things to happen. You just can't go to the priest and boom,
Hmm.
okay, you got what you have to put in the work. But that's another issue. People be
Right. Right.
upset we talk about that. Actually, they really would.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm not initiated, but that's for
Right. Right.
another
Right.
topic.
Not indoctrinated. Yeah. That's really it. Not
Yeah,
indoctrinated.
remember what I told you before when you asked me about having a YouTube and what I told you. You remember what I told you? Someone told me not to.
Yeah, because you were on Facebook and then you left, and you came back when I was talking about, hey, you should make a channel. And I've been seeing the drama that you've been going through with people you're friends with, or through Facebook. I don't really say anything
Mhm.
because, I mean, I'm not trying to, I don't have a cup of water in front of me to catch all that bad energy, but I kind of can see. And that's why sometimes, I'm not saying you should do it, but that's why sometimes people, when they shut their channel down, or their not their channel, but their
Right.
Facebook page, they start a
Mhm.
brand new one and start fresh. Because some people, it's just they know you from the past, and they want to keep you back there. They don't,
Yep.
like they knew you 20 years ago, or they don't understand that, through one every day that passes, you get older. And 10 years later, you've changed and you're a different person, but they're going to remind you of your past every chance they get.
Yeah, and it's like I started this new Facebook, but you see, even though I changed my name, they know my face.
Right, right.
So friend of me, and because I have an African name,
Mhm.
people from Africa, they're friend of me, and that's fine. But
Yep.
you see the memes and all that stuff. It's like, man, it's like they're trying to incite something with all that's going on. You
Right.
see what I'm saying? And I'm like, damn, y'all want to stay there?
I definitely hear you guys, and this is why because people always ask about this channel in particular. So I've only had this channel a little less than a year, but I've been on YouTube in its entirety for about maybe about 12 years. And the reason why I decided to do a new channel as opposed to just shifting over the old channel is because I realized that a lot of that energy, just like you spoke of, Brother CK, you bring onto, people are thinking that it would be the same thing, like with gossip and I'm like, no, I'm not doing that anymore. Since I started the other channel many years ago, I've become a mother. I've gone through a divorce. I have, it's faced an eviction. I faced an election and been an elected official. So it's kind of like my life has definitely changed so much. Um, I feel like I've blown up during this course, and I wanted to create a platform that was reflective of that. And so this is why, I really realized in this season of my life how important it is to have the right people around you. That's why I'm so blessed to have you both joining on this journey with networking appropriately and networking effectively, and definitely practicing upward mobility. So I definitely want you to tell us a little bit more about your platform, Brother CK, and how you got involved with YouTube and creating this brand, and what you're going to be bringing to the MX Media Group platform.
Yeah, originally, my channel started was like Red Sage, and it was like a red pill channel, and it was helping veterans transition into civilian life, and it was also talking about celebrity news as well. And then uh, some like one of my subscribers was like, "Hey, you should talk about finance and investment because even though you don't do a whole video towards it, when you talk about that, it's it just seems a little bit better." So I kind of I mean, I still help out veterans with like information, but now it's helping out with finance and stuff and kind of talking to them one on one because most of the veterans that I was talking to, they're not really concerned with, unfortunately, they're not really concerned with investment, wealth creation, generational wealth. They're more concerned with like their health, which is why it's great that Amanike makes content because her channel is more what someone like a veteran would want, like myself included, because yeah, you can make all this money, but you can have a whole bunch of money and then your
Health as well.
mind is working against you. Yeah, health is wealth. And if your mind is working against you, you can have $1 billion. You're really a poor person because you're dealing with mental issues. So since being Red Sage and kind of stopping that and turning it to screen learning, it's just been about like learning and educating. And now, when I made the transition, I actually reached out to a lot of teachers where I went to high school at, just kind of asking them, their insight on what are some things that the kids are interested in or they talk about so that I could reach a younger audience. And then and just kind of hearing the different things that they were needing for like getting ready for college. It was kind of the same stuff I do now as far as like investment and just talking about life. And now, well, since that point, I've transitioned into a family friendly channel where everything is pretty much PG. Sometimes I try to keep it G. It's kind of hard, but so now I make family friendly content and provide a service. And then, but I do have something that's for adults only called Adult Playground. I kind of try to stay away from Adult Playground and try to sprinkle it in every now and then. I know people need like their fix, but so make a long story short, what I'll be bringing as far as my panel topics where we all get together and talk, it'll be kind of like family friendly topics and a family friendly atmosphere where all walks of life will be able to listen to us discuss stuff and get something out of it.
I love that. I love that. Brother CK, there is uh, such a definite professionalism about you that I always love to say that my mom used to tell me, if if you're the smartest of your friends, make some new ones. And from the very first moment that you and I started, uh, corresponding and communicating, I was just like, I gotta have I've got to have him in my circle because I feel like I can learn so much from you. You offer some master classes. You offer some consulting. Give us a little bit more information about what you do there in that regard, if you don't mind.
So my master, so everything. I'm glad you asked that. So for my YouTube channel, for YouTube, Facebook, BitChute, all the crap that I'm on. I mean, all the stuff I'm on. It's like a freemium. So it's a bunch of like free information. Like here you go, and it's whatever's trending, whatever I feel like talking about. So for the master class, it's about for the people who are in the class, it's whatever they want the information to be about. So for example, there's most of the people who there's like mixture of white and Filipino as far as the background of the people in the master class, and they mainly just want to know about how they can invest with their business, and I take them step by step, showing them the screens to go through, and I sit there and wait for them to go through a screen and tell them, click this and click that, and just kind of really fill in the holes of the whole process and helping them be able to manage their finances. Because most of the freemium videos I do, it's it's kind of expecting you to have a certain level of understanding, being able to let's say if I say, there is the COVID going around. Well, if COVID's going around, that's the problem. And then like if like Amanike mentioned the company Minerva that's working on a cure, not a cure, but a vaccine. So
Yeah.
just kind of going through the thought process of how to look for companies and how to invest. I'm kind of expecting a person to have a certain level of knowledge that I'm saying to invest, but you should on your own go through your bank, go through Robinhood, go through whatever, and actually do it. So for the master class, it's whatever they need help with, actually taking time out to walk them through the process. And then I download financial statements, crunch financial ratios. I explain to them the numbers compared to the industry average. I use a lot of uh, information I've compiled from my undergraduate and master class and give them like a full picture of exactly what they're doing and why, and help them become experts in whatever they're understanding. So there's two master classes. There's channel membership and there's Patreon. The difference between the two is with the channel membership, it's the platform is going to be on YouTube, and it's whatever can be said on YouTube. Whereas with the Patreon masterclass, it could be on various different platforms. It may be on Facebook, it may be on YouTube, it may be through BitChute, and it's just it's a different it's a different type of atmosphere for both, because on YouTube you can only really do so much. However, outside of YouTube, like on BitChute, I can actually use language concepts that may not necessarily be YouTube friendly. So the masterclass is definitely help someone get from where they are to wherever their goal is.
I'll probably need to sign up with you.
Yeah, come on, let's do it. Well, whenever somebody's ready. But I will say
Yeah.
that usually when there've been a lot of people who have asked about the master class. I don't know if they're going to be if they're here in the chat, if they watch on the replay. I will say this much, that anyone who asks me should they get into the master class, I always tell them no, because if you see my freemium content and you signed up for Patreon, signed up for a channel membership, and you like that, and you feel that that is enough for you, then don't get into the master class, because the master class is about you. It's not me. I could show you my investment in a holding company, and right now we're at 45K with assets under management. I could show you that. I could talk about my experience with consultation and how to get that off the ground. I could talk about opening up an investment, a holding company. I could talk, but it's about me. So the freemium stuff's about me, whereas the master class is tailored to each person in the class, and we kind of rotate it. to see who wants a personalized video and experience about them. So if you're not working on anything, if you're just wanting to just sit there and observe what's done for everyone else, fine. But just understand that not everyone wants their personalized class public. Some people want a one-on-one, which I'll be on the phone with them. They'll do the call-in number, and we'll kind of go through stuff one-on-one. A lot of people don't really like their stuff to be public. So you may, if you don't have any actual goals, we may spend an entire month of me just pulling stuff out of you to see what you want. And if you don't really want anything or you're not sure, then definitely get to the lower classes till you're ready to get your feet wet. Because I'm brutally honest in those classes that once you turn 18, you got to hit the ground running. I mean, 18 years old. And majority of the people who are in the master class or even on my channel, they're 35 and older. So we're behind the curve. And you got to understand that there's the internet is different. People are making money in their living room, like I do. I make money at home. There are people who they're getting more into fitness. There are people who they're able to really do things exponentially greater than our parents and grandparents, and they're doing it at 18 years old. There's kids on YouTube who are unpacking toys and playing with them and making a lot of money. There's also people who in the past they'd be at like a flea market carving out little cars and stuff, selling the vehicles for like $5 a day, and they're poor, but thanks to social media they can record themselves carving out the vehicle and they're making like six figures. So there definitely is opportunity and money to be made, but you have to know what you want and be dedicated. There's so many people who are like somebody, I don't want to bust anyone out, but so someone asked me, can you help me make $1 million by December? I said, well, it depends on what you're willing to do and what you want to do, because I could suggest some stuff for you and then you might not like it. So it just depends on, just kind of how you are, who you are, what you got going on, because it's basically mastering whatever you want to do and not what I want you to do. Now, I will tell you what I want you to do, but it's pretty much your choice.
You know what? I've been listening to you, and you're right. I think another thing is not everyone is for entrepreneurship. So it's true. It's good to learn. It's good to learn, but not everyone could do it. Like you've said, and I learned a lot from you, CK. Someone's got to do the work. Someone has to be the boss, and someone has to do the work. I in my videos, I write a lot in the description. I don't know if anyone reads it, but on one of them, I talk about the COVID-19 and the instruments. Remember that one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I also put in the description about medical technology or clinical lab scientists, and how I think a lot of people need to get into it because they're like, oh, they don't know what to do or whatever. Because as you know, and as Courtney Omega knows, I left my job. In a time of where people are losing their job, I left my job because I wasn't I didn't like what was going on as far as the technologists testing the COVID specimen in-house in a hospital. And I didn't like the instrumentation. I don't feel it is it's accurate. Right?
Yeah.
So, but the thing is, because I'm in demand, I'm not bragging, but I'm just saying, I am in demand. I can sit back. I could stay home and I could look for another job when I'm ready to. Okay, I talk about.
Isn't it like science? Is it technology? So you're in the medical field, but does it fall under science and technology? For like STEM.
But I don't think it's as elevated, but it can be. You see what I'm saying? I do the HIV test. When you go to the doctor, you want a cholesterol test. I do that. Okay. As you know, I've done the COVID testing. they could send it out to LabCorp Quest and they do the PCR. I used to work at LabCorp and Quest. So I'm able to get a job there again, and they will teach me how to do it because I have a certification as a medical technologist in the state of Florida. I also have a supervisor license.
So
So
you work for
you see what
LabCorp.
I'm saying?
That means you used to work for the dark side, for the Empire. I've heard I've heard
That
I,
and Quest. But guess what? Yeah, and you know what? Maybe I have worked for the
let
dark
me go
side
get
and
a
I
cup of
was in the
water.
beginning.
Let me go get a cup of water
But you
to
know what? But the thing is, I have choices though.
right.
That's the thing. That's what it boils down to. I have choices. And it is good if people understand if they make good decisions early, they try to find something they like. And even sometimes
Mhm.
something they don't like, but it's in demand. You have more choices. That's what
Right.
I'm about. It's having choices. I don't feel, I mean, even though I was born in America, I have West Indian parents and they
Mhm.
harp on education. And I understand now people could make six figures without that education. But that's
Mhm.
the background I come from, was rammed into my head. And when I got old enough, they didn't pay for it. But I, like you, I'm a veteran. I went,
Mhm.
went to the military so I could get that money because I was focused, do my 4 years of the military, get out, go to college, because I knew I was looking at medical technology because I
You
didn't
know,
want to be a nurse.
right. Speaking of military, you could go work on the bases. I know there's a couple of bases down there in Florida.
Yeah.
They're hurting. They're hurting for people to go and do specimens and do lab work. They're hurting, but if you go work for them, they're gonna be like, well, how about you put on a uniform?
Well, but guess what? Probably not because I'm not ashamed to say it. I'm 51 now. I know I don't look it, but I'm 51
They'll,
years old. So
they'll
I
give you
wasn't
a
waiting on
waiver.
the.
They'll give you a waiver.
Well, I'll tell you what. You know what? You laugh, but I learned never say never. That means I will. I mean, now I know what I know. I would
Mhm.
tell them I would have to go in as an officer.
Yeah, I
You
mean you
understand?
can,
Give me
because
that officer pay, and I'm not talking second lieutenant. You better talk about captain.
yeah, because for nurses, well, for medical field period, you can go in as a first lieutenant or a captain, and you could do a direct commission. But it's different than the regular officer. You're not doing any of the infantry stuff. With them, all
Right.
they do is learn about the uniform and stuff. Because
Mm-hmm.
when I was at OCS in Fort Benning in Georgia, we were doing the officer school, like the infantry, and then there was a direct commission. It was the lawyers, doctors, nurses, medical
Mm.
people, chaplains, and all they did was they they learned how to march, they learned the facing movements, they learned how
Oh,
to wear the uniforms,
right.
they learned how to salute, and that was it. Like, I mean, it was they did a ruck march. They did a ruck march, but you like
Mhm.
walking, so but that's all they did.
Yeah,
Or you could be a civilian working in the lab and ain't got to worry about the nonsense of going to
that's
PE
true.
and all that. I mean,
That's and they probably have some opening because they have the Air
they
Force
do.
base. And I
Hmm.
noticed, I noticed things. They'll have it and then it'll be gone. So I think people they leave for some reason.
Well,
So
you got to
I
you got to actually. So the secret I heard was still apply, but you got to go up there and try to talk to people and go to the actual place where the job will be and talk to folks. That way they know, okay, to be looking out for you, because they take those jobs away after it expires, and then they push it back out there, because with the government, they don't really have a job forever. It'll expire
I
and then they have to push. I don't know, it's stupid, but if you actually go up there, you talk to somebody, you'll get it. Especially when you're like, oh, you're a veteran, okay, because they know that you're already disciplined, you're already experienced. It's just, I
mhm.
guess, only thing that would suck is having to go through the gate, and then besides
Exactly.
that, because going through that gate is especially if it's like, let's say like you leave for lunch, you want to go off the base or off the Air Force base, and you want to come back on. It's a big long line, and you got to sit for that. Yeah,
Exactly.
that's like my number one. That's my top 5 reasons of why I'm done with the bases, just because going in and out the gate. And then what if you're randomly selected for them to put the mirror under your car looking for a bomb? And now you got to sit there and play. You got to pop the trunk, got to pop the
Man,
hood.
I haven't been on a base since '92.
Yeah, they're doing that. They're randomly selecting folk, and then
Right.
if you're behind the person that gets randomly selected, you got to wait on that. So that stuff will
Yep.
make you late for work. And then what's even worse is if you have to go to work in the morning. People out there doing PT, and you know, uh, you might end up driving slow behind a formation of folks marching. So that kind of stuff's annoying. But other than that, man, it's like a normal job, and I mean,
Yeah, I'll think about it.
yeah,
I'll
I
think
feel the same
about
way.
it.
I feel the same way
But
because
but you know what? I'm also thinking about the traveling. Like they have traveling nurses, they have traveling lab
mhm.
techs. So I was thinking if I do that, I would definitely showcase that on YouTube. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like when I travel, so people would
Mhm.
know that hey, this isn't an avenue that they can do.
That's what
You
I love
know? And
happening right now with COVID is that people are now exploring different avenues as ways to increase or making other streams of income. I think that's if there's one. I think there are many, and I often have to get into kind of debates with people when I disclose this. But I think that COVID has presented many different um, alternative lifestyle type of hacks that we never considered before. I think that the type of hacks that have been going on, honestly, they liken me to when I faced an eviction, and even though I didn't necessarily have to live on the street, I did have. There was a period of time where I went without a physical address. I was in hotels. I was in Airbnbs. My mail was still going to a friend of mine's home, but eventually I ended up getting an opportunity to live in a apartment building that was being renovated, and I was able to live in there, sit still. But because this unit was being renovated, some nights it didn't have power, some nights it didn't have water. So you have to be
hmm,
really resourceful. And I think that that's something that people really don't realize, or they don't appreciate, that people that are living homeless, they're really resourceful for how to get to the day, how to get food, how to, they had literally, like I said, I thank God I wasn't homeless per se. We had, a place to go every night. It was a nice, unit. It was being renovated, but it wasn't ready to be rented yet. So it was nice enough. And then all the hotels that I stayed at, I had a friend that worked for the Hilton, and God bless him, he hooked me up with his honors. So we were staying at these top-notch hotels for $25 a night. So, there were blessings there, but at the same time, you did have to be really resourceful with, okay, this is where I can go if, I don't get to make it, I don't get to make it back to a restaurant that all of us like to go to on this side of town. This church is doing this. This place I can go to get Wi-Fi. This place I can go to watch clothes for free. So you had to be
hmm,
really, really, really resourceful. And honestly, when everything started rolling out, it definitely likened me to this time. And that's where also, going back once again to talking about the importance of networking, that's when you can really see who's in your network. The fact that I had a friend who worked higher level management at Hilton, and his rewards weren't like someone entry level rewards, because he was in management. So his rewards were $25 a night, as opposed to some people when they're entry level and they work at Hilton, their discount is maybe like $15. Like they don't have to pay that deposit that you have to pay usually at hotels. Like that's what their discount is, you know. So that was a blessing. And it also, again, to have someone who was literally have bought an apartment building and said, "Hey, I'm renovating a couple of units that still haven't gotten turned all the way over yet. You can use that." That was a blessing, and I think that this has provided that opportunity because even as I listen to you two exchanging, what are some different avenues that you can go um, to kind of still seek out similar type of employment, but basically with a little bit elevated of a salary. Um, you need people like that. You need people that have those type of ideas. It is 5:42. I definitely did want to open up the panel to. I'm sorry. I'm going to drop the link to open up the panel to anybody that wants to come on and join us. As you can see, everybody in this link, everybody in this chat, they have access. They have wrenches now. So please, you guys, this is a live stream. This is exclusively just for today because usually you all know the way my what's glowing on Wednesdays go. We usually have one particular topic, and we have a guest that we stick to. But for today, with introducing our panel, I wanted to make sure that everybody had an opportunity to come on and get a feel of what a live stream event is going to be like and what you can expect from that with the with the MX Media Group. And just a little bit of background about why I called it the MS Media Group. And just so everybody knows, that avatar, that profile, that's my actual card. I do have a Malcolm X card. When 9 to 5 jobs, that is how they're actually, that is how I'm paid from a 9 to 5 job. It's uploaded through Malcolm X, my Malcolm X card. But I love the statement that Malcolm X said about media, about if you can control media will have you thinking that the good guys are, the bad guys, and bad guys are, they're basically setting the standard. So I thought, how important was it that before Malcolm X was ever opening up temples, he was actually working. He was in the newsletter. He was working with the Muslim newsletter, and he was putting together these very eloquent, very well researched articles to get people to start to think when they would have people receiving it. So because my background is in journalism, it is I'm a publicist. My background is in journalism. I'm a writer by nature. I always tell people I'm a writer and a writer. um, yeah, I wanted to create this same type of engagement opportunity and bring it into the platform, especially the fact that I've seen literally other countries do this, and they're able to really grow their brand. They're able to really engage with their subscribers and as well as other content creators. So with that being said, and just knowing that you're only as strong. Remember that show, The Weakest Link? Did you ever watch that, TK?
Yep. Yeah, I have.
Yeah. What what was the lady's name? I heard, didn't she pass away? The one that hosted it. I think she passed away a few years ago.
You know what? Outside of the show, I really didn't keep up with the people who were on it, so I couldn't even tell you.
And yeah, she wasn't on it. She's the one that hosted. She was the one that would say towards the end, "You are the weakest link." So
Goodbye.
yeah,
Yeah.
I was, I, right, exactly. I wanted
Hmm.
to make sure that that was true before I maybe put out any false information. But I remember I used to love that show because not because of hearing that you are the weakest link, because who wants to hear that, right? But it was
Right.
because sometimes you would see people underestimate who they thought knew what, and you would
Hmm.
see people just kind of you would see people kind of second guess themselves even. And so when they
Right.
second guess all leaders, when they second guess themselves, they're seen as the weakest link. So that is something that I always took from that. That you have to be confident in your stance. And you have to be confident in the people that you have around you. Because if there is any type of vulnerability, it's going to be exposed, and it's gonna weaken that whole chain. So you want to be the strongest. You don't want to be the strongest, but you want to be strong. Because remember, I always say, your life. I tell my kids all the time too. Your life isn't for yourself. You know, the life that you live isn't just for yourself. It's for someone else as well. Okay, so we have Mama back. Amen. Anyone else would like to join the channel? Because at 5:55, y'all, we're gonna do the top five at five. Y'all know that's when I do my questions, and they are fun. They're usually kind of out of the out of the mental scope of what you think the questions are going to be about. We do some fun trivia. We may have some lyrics we want to do. So yeah. Um. No, I'm not on my phone. I am not on the phone. I think that I see that message here. Said there's some static. I'm not on the phone. I don't know if that's someone else's static, but I'm not. Let's
Oh, I
see.
know I'm on my phone,
Oh,
and my phone is running hot again.
oh,
Oh
sorry.
man.
I know. That's why. And I was
Well,
playing around, and I got
congratulations.
kicked off.
Okay. Well, we're all still figuring it out. I need to figure out. I think I need to learn. Well, not I think I need to learn, but I am going to learn, and maybe Brother CK can help me with that, with sharing my screen, because there are some things that I want to start presenting. I want to start being able to show you guys other channels while we're having our live stream parties, and I've seen that be really effective. So I need to figure out how to share my screen. So we know, Brother CK, you have a show that will be coming up starting at 6 o'clock. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, it's scheduled for 3:30 p.m. Pacific time, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Is this before 5? Yeah, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. It's an adult playground. It's going to be talking about trauma bonding and discussing Rihanna telling Oprah that she still has love for Chris Brown. I
Mm.
Yeah, it's because I know last time we did a panel, it was flowing really well, and then someone was kind of wanted to talk about adult stuff, and I understand that a lot of people, they just got to talk about sex. So I'll have an adult playground where people can be adults. It's the one type of deal that I do where it's just adult only, not family friendly. You can use profanity if you need to. You can just let your hair down. But the discussion will be about just understanding that whether you're getting into a business, dealing with someone, or a relationship, or just a friendship, if people are attached to someone who is toxic from their past or even their present, you're not going to be able to have a good relationship with them. And we got to look for those signs because there's a lot of people walking around, they're mentally unstable, they have unresolved childhood issues, they got relationship issues. You see it online with these different panels, and people will be bashing someone. It could be because they're trauma bonded to someone, or it could be that they're imprinted and someone imprinted on them, and that imprint is equivalent to the relationship they had with like a abusive parent or an abusive brother or sister or whatnot. So we'll discuss Rihanna's story, discuss what happened with Rihanna and Chris Brown. We'll definitely, and it's going to be on Plato's Cave and Screen Learning Channel. I'll be multi-streaming, but we'll get into that and just discuss the different dynamics that comes with us being adults. Just because someone's full grown doesn't necessarily mean that they are a functioning adult. They may be a full grown male, full grown female. So we'll get into that, and it'll be a unique discussion. It'll be a little bit different in the normal investment, wealth, and business discussions that normally take place.
Celibacy could help with that.
That
I'm
too.
just saying.
You're right. That too. That
You
too.
are absolutely true with that. I am growing on next month. It'll be 6 years single and celibate for me. And I was just going to weigh in because I do not think I'll be able to join tonight. I definitely plan on joining next week with Afterglow. But the earlier in the week, my evenings are usually very taken back with children in our studies to get prepared, and I'm trying to teach both of my kids the space. And so, are we up to 52 yet? Somebody please tell me. So I'm learning also in the process. I
Yeah,
definitely did
we're at
you
52
said
minutes.
okay. So no
Yeah,
problem.
anybody who can't make it, it's understandable because we all got
I'll make it.
but
Yeah,
the
it will be
replay.
in the playbacks we're posting as well. But go ahead, brother CK. I know I cut you off a bit.
Oh no, the replay will be just as good. And a lot of one thing I tell people is if you really like, let's say we do a topic about something, if you really like it, you can take that topic and instead of you being on the panel and saying what you want to say, you could say it and have it as your own video as content on your channel. You could even do a response, and that'll help with getting your creative juices flowing because uh, when people respond to me, I'm okay with it. There's been some negative responses, but just taking a topic that I've done using the exact same title and talk, kind of giving your take on it, it'll help with us trending together if we do trend, and it'll also help with people wanting to go from, let's say, I do the panel later. If you talk about the same subject later on the same day or the next day, it'll Google may have them as recommended right behind, with my video. So the replay will be just as good. If you're unable to, stick your head in and listen, the replay is there for you, and we completely understand.
I did want to also weigh in on why I do think that situation is so hard to break for Rihanna and Chris Brown. I don't think either of them ever really moved on from one another. I do think that there is some familiarity. I do think that the soul tie is very real and very obvious between the two of them. I think that, and this is all, my personal opinion. I am not a psychologist, guys, but I always used to tell people, um, I don't know a lot about politics or policy as much as people think I know. I come from a political family. My grandmother was the mayor. My sister's a political strategist. I was an elected official. But I said, really, I know more about people than I do policy or politics. And the people that are behind those personas of both Chris Brown and Rihanna, I think what you're still dealing with are two teenagers that got very, very, it, that got very involved very fast. And I think what has happened ultimately is they have they were doing a lot of adult things. These were teenagers buying houses and whatnot for each other. And I can tell you from
Wow.
experiencing, I was married young. I was married as a teen. Um, you don't. There are things in I'm 42. There are things in my 40s that I never considered, even as a married woman, when I was 19 through all of my 20s. And I I honestly don't think they really are over one another. And I think if there was not the spotlight, I do think that they would still be together. That's my personal opinion, and I think that's just going to be to the day that they die. I think that's just the way that's going to be. I think that those two soul ties are too big. They did too much together, and I'm not just talking about adult playground stuff. I just mean, with how they were coming into their fame and their celebrity, and the way they were able to depend on each other. I mean, even as it being, might have been an enabling or codependent situation. And I also just learned that John Gray, Pastor John Gray is being exposed once again for cheating on his wife. These these type of things. I don't think that people really they don't. A lot of people don't really truly deal with what's that the basis of cheating. I was a cheating spouse, and there's a lot of me work I had to do. And I'm still doing, and I've been single for going on 6 years now. But I'm still doing because you do want to get because the cheating is not about your spouse; it's something in you. And I think that there's a lot of when you have so many options, like a pastor, like a celebrity, it's hard for you to really get down to that bone, to that meat, that middle ground, and do the work in you. But okay, so we're up for our top five at five. Is everybody ready?
Okay, we'll try.
I'll try.
Okay. All right. So number five. Woo, this is gonna be a doozy, y'all. This is gonna be a doozy, and you cannot answer, but you can share the answer. But are you voting in the November election?
Am
Yes.
I voting? Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so both of you. All right. That's that's a great answer because I was kind of scared. I was thinking somebody was going to decline the answer. Okay, number number four. Are you expecting a big change after the election?
Say again. Repeat,
Are you
please.
are you expecting a big change after this election?
No.
I'm
Change in
expecting.
what way? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Now I was gonna say I expect there to be rioting and looting, no matter who wins.
But
Oh,
afterwards,
wow.
it's going to die down and
I don't
business
know.
as usual.
You think so? I don't know. Folks is
I think
crazy.
so. It's
I
just
hope you're
like
right.
today we're talking about Bozeman. Soon they won't even think about him. No one even brings up John Singleton. Remember he died?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No
yeah.
one's thinking about him. Come on.
But those riots and
He did
looting,
Boys in the
though,
Hood. No one
he
cares.
did. He did. He did. But that
And no
rioting and
one
looting,
cares.
though,
He done Rosewood. No one cares.
yeah.
He's dead.
But that
We're
rioting
like
and
little
looting is
children.
that rioting and
They,
looting though is pretty intense. I mean, people are getting like 100 pair of Jordans and stealing cars and stuff. I don't know.
Carry, how
I
do
hope
you
you're right.
carry out that many adults? How do you carry out that many adult pair of Jordans?
They are really ingenuitive. They bring trash bags with them. They steal the Jordans and
they're
trash
still,
bags from the store. Yeah.
they're still looting.
Haven't
Of
hit me. I
course.
haven't.
You know, they're what's that place in Wisconsin? They're still looting. People are gonna find the reason. Looting is the new, the rave parties. Back in the day, people
Yeah.
go to rave parties and they would, yeah. So looting
Right.
is the new rave parties. You protest during the day, and then when it's after the curfew, whoever's left over, they pretty much just go
And look.
crazy. And folks walk around with firearms, and you got the police. They're out there doing their thing. So I
Wow.
think it's going to be people protesting whoever wins, and they're going to start off as protesters, then they're going to turn into rioters and looters. The problem is that people need to have their unemployment cut off, and that'll stop the rioting and looting. In my opinion, if people are forced to get it, because there still are plenty of jobs for everybody, even though a lot of people file for unemployment. If people are
Right.
forced to get a job instead of being
Or
able to stay
create
at
one.
home or create one. If people are forced to create a job or get a job as opposed to being rewarded and paid more than when they were employed to stay at home, people won't be out there rioting and looting because they'll have stuff to lose. Right now, they don't have anything to lose. They're saying, forget the police, forget the police, forget the police, but they're on food stamps or they're on Social Security or they're on Section 8. And it's like, dude, you're saying forget the police, forget the government, but the government pays for your expenses and pays for your living and stuff. So you really can't, you can say forget them, but you're saying forget them because they allow you to. So we'll see. I hope Amanike is right and it goes back to business as usual so I can get my 24/7 town back.
Mm.
Okay. All right. So the next question, and speaking of Chadwick Boseman, We also the next day we suffered two basketball legends, and that passed away. We saw the loss of Cliff Robinson from the Trailblazers, and we saw the loss of one of my favorites. You know, growing up, everyone knew Georgetown Hoyas coach, and my brother. I guess because I came from an era that was that was um, very Georgetown hype. You know, my brother wanted to be a Hoya. Everybody talked about being a Hoya, and I remember when Iverson came through, that was a big issue. That was also a big spotlight was put on him because he came through Georgetown. So my question of the three, which do you think has had the most impact of the three deaths?
I think the coach for the Georgetown Hoyas
Uh-huh.
because no. To be honest, I really couldn't even tell you because I just thought about it. I'm thinking about someone else. I don't know. I don't think they really had much of an impact. I mean, it's with everything that's going on right now with all the major stuff. I mean, I'm not discounting their passing away. Maybe they inspire people, but I just don't really. I'm gonna pass on that.
Yeah, and I'm not into sports.
You said what? I'm sorry, Mama.
I said I'm not into sports, so I don't even know who that is.
Oh, you don't know? You don't know either Cliff Robinson or
Keep
uh,
no, I'm not into sports.
okay. I John Thompson is his name, but he was very, very big. I guess, like I said, I come from an era where, you know, that was just everyone thought, you know, if you went through Georgetown's program, you know, he was going to be able to kind of. He was a real father figure with a lot of NBA players that made it, and you know, Patrick Ewing, I believe, Allen Iverson, of course, and even Shaquille O'Neal. Even though Shaquille O'Neal didn't go to Georgetown, I remember he was in that commercial, and I love that commercial because it was the poem "If" by Rudyard Kipling, and it was John Thompson that was reciting it as Shaquille O'Neal was playing. So yeah, but I do understand what you're saying. So I mean, would you say Chadwick Boseman? Then I don't know. I think that because he played icons, but just for such a short period of time. I think his work will definitely live on and speak for him in that regards to his legacy because he
I
really
hope
played
so.
icons. Yeah, he really did, and he had such a true light. I think it's just incredible, but I do think he's going to be the biggest ultimately. But right now, I still kind of feel it's John Thompson. Okay, so the next question. We talked about Chris Brown. We talked about Rihanna. Who's the better artist? Let's get real here. Come on. We're gonna drop the mic on this one.
Between Chris Brown and Rihanna,
Yes.
to me, Chris Brown sounds like an angel when he sings. That's just
Amen.
me.
Amen.
He
Oh,
sounds like an
oh.
angel. And I've said that to people before. And I mean, I know he beat her and this, but I'm just talking about him as an artist. When he sings to me, it sounds like an angel uh for his age. He could hit those notes, and it's so clear.
You mean better artists like overall? Because if it's overall, you got to give it to Chris Brown. I mean, dude sold more albums. He's he's up there. He's really up there as far as. But see, I want to say Rihanna, but it's probably going to be Chris Brown. I mean,
And he's
Chris.
a dancer, right?
Yeah, he dances. You know, Rihanna doesn't really do the dancing, and Chris
Antoinette.
Brown's show is better. He sold more shows. His album sales have been better. You know, Rihanna. We all like Rihanna, but compared to the two, I don't know.
Well, you
I
know,
don't. I probably would say Chris Brown. You know, just give me Chris
Yeah.
Brown for 100. Yeah.
I agree with you both. It has been, let me tell you, it was not hard for me to ever stop. I never really was into Rihanna as an artist. So, but it was really hard for me to stop listening to Chris Brown. R. Kelly was even easy for me to stop listening to, but it was very hard for me to stop listening to Chris Brown because it's like, man, he just makes hits after hits after hits. The only song that I ever heard him get outdone on was his New Flame song with Usher. And you just got to give it over to Usher because when you talk about, just professionalism and just being just able to hit those notes and put you in that moment, it's always going to be Usher for me. But Chris Brown was very hard for me to stop listening to when I gave up secular music. So, um, so
Hmm.
I'm gonna agree. I'm gonna go with Chris Brown with both of you on that. Okay, so my last question. So we got Brother Neo. Brother Neo, welcome to the panel.
Greetings, everybody.
Hey,
Greetings.
Leo.
I don't have my microphone today, so I'm gonna try to uh, keep a handle on it.
Okay, so who do you think? Who's the better artist out of Chris Brown and Rihanna?
I'm gonna go with paycheck wise, and Chris Brown has the higher income.
And you know what, guys? That's so true. Because you know what? If you look at credits, Chris Brown is producing all of his songs. T Pain talked about
Really?
this, and yes, he produces all of his songs. T Pain talked about this because T Pain was on the Masked Singer, and they were talking about artists that he truly like looks up to, and he said, "Man, I've never seen people be able to really run a contract the way Chris Brown runs it." Like when Chris Brown gets in the room, he said when Chris Brown gets in the room with them boys, he's coming off with credits for everything. And I think that's incredible when you think about also his age. Like Chris Brown is a young guy, and to be able to have kind of the mental scope. But y'all, he's also a Taurus, and y'all know those Taurus. They're built differently. Malcolm X a Taurus, my mom's a Taurus, my ex husband's a Taurus, my daughter's a Taurus. I'm not a Taurus,
How
but
old is Chris Brown?
I believe he's 36. I believe he's 36. He might be
Okay.
younger than that. He might be 33. I think Rihanna is older than him. She got them by a couple years. But yeah, he's a young guy. He's able to really put things together. Oh, he's 31, even younger. 31 years old.
Wow.
Just 30, right. So and he was doing that from the beginning. His first song was Run It with Joel Santana. So I became a Chris Brown fan late, but I stayed on that train for a long time, and I literally just stopped listening to him maybe about a year or two ago. But this stuff with me being celibate is too sexual. It's too sexual. So I had to just go all the way and say, nah, I gotta stop listening to that. All right. So the last question for the entire panel. This is going to be really super fun, guys. Really super fun. If you if you could be any superhero, who would it be? I'm gonna start with Brother Neo. And
Oh,
don't
that's a
say Black
loaded.
Panther because of Chadwick. Don't just say Black Panther, y'all. Don't take that route out. Let's hear you.
Okay. This is one of my favorite topics right here. This last question. Now,
Great.
do we have
Okay.
to do we have to stick with a particular genre like Marvel or DC?
No, across the board. Whatever it is. Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna have to go with. Oh, that's a tough one. I think Batman. I'm gonna go with Batman, just to be different. I mean, because first off,
I can see
uh,
that. 'Cause he said that he's a villain. Batman is a villain superhero. That's very profound for him to say such a thing. But go ahead. You
Batman
were
is
talking.
a villain?
technically, yeah, but he's more vigilante than anything else,
Okay.
Yeah.
which is technically illegal. But as far as history goes, I think he was my first superhero. His first, my first favorite superhero. Because I'm a millennial, but I grew up watching Adam West as Batman. Right. One of my favorite things was to race home as fast as I could so I can catch Batman with Eartha Kitt as Catwoman, not the next generation, right? When Batman was taking on the Green Hornet, right? So I grew up with a lot of older stuff that's not necessarily in my age bracket. But yeah, I mean that kind of takes me to my next point. I gotta be Black Panther. I know it. I know Chadwick Boseman passed away. We're gonna try to take him off the table as an option just because of his passing and whatnot. But Black Panther was another one of those people that you had to look up to as a black kid growing up. There weren't very many superheroes to look up to, other than I don't know who was another one.
The Green
There's
Lantern.
so many. There's so many. It's so many. I can't even nail one down. Right. But Black Panther was one of those ones that was definitely not as popular. But if you were in the hood, you knew about him.
Agreed. Mama, you're next. You're up. Who you choosing? Superhero.
Well, when I was a kid, I mean, I guess she's not a superhero, but Catwoman, because I grew up with as Neo, Eartha Kitt, and she was beautiful. Catwoman, she was cunning. She used her femininity to get what she wanted. She flirted, but she didn't have sex with him. As far as she probably hinted at that. But
No, she definitely slept with Batman.
oh, she did. Oh, hey, I mean, anyway,
Hands down.
we're gonna keep it kid friendly, right? But I mean, when I was a kid, of course, I didn't think about sex. I was a kid, but she was beautiful and she was cunning, and she was like water, very fluid in her movements. As an adult, I would say the little I know, Storm.
Yup, that's a good one.
Yeah, because
That's Mama Oye.
okay. Now we're going into spirituality. I'm taking it there. Storm remind me in my in my spirituality of Oya, the Orisha Oya,
Yeah, that's Oye,
of
definitely. No
aspect of
question.
God. Yeah, you know what I'm saying, of the aspect of God, of dealing with nature, of the wind, of controlling, the wind, the air, of tornadoes,
Lightning.
that type of energy. Say again?
Lightning that she stole from Shango,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
Thor, by the way.
Well,
It's Thor is like the whitewashed
Thor is a
version of Shango.
different.
Thor is the whitewashed version of Shango. That's where they got Thor from.
Yeah. You could say it like that. Everybody have their different gods or aspect of gods, because to me
Yeah.
that's what Aretha is. They're aspects of God that speak of nature and the personality of God, but there's one God, at least in my tradition. But I told
Yeah.
y'all I'm taking it there. I'm sorry.
I can rock with that though. I mean, replace the double-headed hammer with the double-sided axe,
Sure.
and
Yeah,
give him
axe.
some
Okay.
melanin, and you got Shango.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Brother CK, who you taking? Who are you?
It's gonna be a weird one, but growing up, it was Spawn because he looked like me, and
Yeah, it's
he
not really important.
He's the only superhero that it seemed like he was carrying an entire comic on his own, and he just had these powers that helped him, fight his enemies. Like I had to fight my enemies, and then it was just him living in alleys. I had to experience that at one point, and the fact that he wasn't like a good guy or a bad guy. He was a bad person who was doing things that were viewed as good, like I had to do. And it's just, I just really like that he symbolized rebirth because he did bad things in life, and then he was set up, and his life was taken from him, and he was brought, and then he went to Hell, and he was reincarnated to lead Hell's army, and then he used that opportunity to end up fighting against both good and bad, and that's kind of like what I was going through while growing up, and it really helped me out. And because and even as an adult, as I've gotten older, and Spawn has become God, it just the story of you as a person, you're not really a good person or a bad person. You make choices. And then every now and then you may fight the good fight, or you may do something to where you make a choice you do it in secret to benefit yourself, even though it hurts someone else. Kind of like when I was on the corporate plantation, there was a couple of times where I made choices to save myself, and it was detrimental to the company, or I did something to where I was telling like someone in management about someone else just to save the company, to keep the doors open. And it was it was a lot of gray area when I was growing up before I became who I am, and Spawn just embodied that gray area where it's like we're not good or bad, we're just energy beings, and we're just doing stuff. And the more energy that we expend of ourselves, we could lose our life. Because with him, he's God. He doesn't have to worry about losing his power and losing his life. But Spawn had an amount of necroplasm, and the more necroplasm he used, the more he was losing his life. So that kind of, to me, that was kind of like how we are as people, especially when I was growing up. It just seemed like if I was not focusing my energy on what was benefiting me, it was going to be harmful, because I'm like, exhausted trying to do stuff. So I would say Spawn. But besides growing up and liking Spawn as an adult, my favorite superhero, I know we're supposed to only pick one. Everybody else picked like two. So my second one would have to be Superman. Dude's a god, and he's an alien. And sometimes I feel like I'm an alien. Not like just because of America or whatever, but it just sometimes just sitting back and just listening to people, it feels like I'm from another planet. I know other people feel that same way. And quoting Batman, shout out to Neo, quoting Batman, what we like about Superman is that he could dominate the world, but he chooses not to. Because a lot of us, with our platforms, with how we carry ourselves, just us coming to social media and talking and giving information, we don't have to do it. We choose to. That's what being powerful is all about, because we don't have an obligation to help nobody, but we choose to. And that's what I like about Superman, is that he could, if you notice, every other version of Superman, they're all good except for like Omega. I think it was Power Man. He's bad, but other than that, every version of Superman is always wanting to help people, even though he has all these powers. He's the only superhero who's there's other superheroes who are overpowered. Because you got Batman with his prep time, that's kind of overpowered, but he's the only person who's overpowered who has all these powers. A whole buffet of powers. He can do everything, even like reverse time. He can do that, but he chooses to want to be a reporter and be broke. Superman's broke, and he chooses to because that's how he sees us through himself.
Yeah, this
You
is a
have
good way to
just
look at
said a
it.
whole word. I love that, CK. I love that. I was putting the glowers up.
Hold on,
I
I,
was
I, I didn't create Superman. I can't take credit for it. I didn't create Superman. I can't take credit
love
for it, but I appreciate
that.
it.
I just love how you broke that down. Absolutely. So Super CK is what I'm gonna start calling you. Um. So So my that I saw everyone said they chose to. My number one is, I love what Mama said about Storm, because growing up, I didn't see, there was Supergirl, and I love Catwoman too because she wore all black, but not until I realized who Eartha Kitt was that I realized that that was a black version of Catwoman. But Storm was who I identified with when I was like in my teens, because X-Men had just become popular. I didn't grow up reading the comic books, but in my during my glow up, if you will, the superhero that I mostly identify with right now is Professor X. Ah, y'all. So what I thought was very interesting about when Stan Lee passed away, they talked about how Professor X and Magneto were based on Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. And Magneto was Malcolm X, and Professor X was supposed to be Martin Luther King. And I said, oh, no, 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 no. I think whoever is interpreting that interpreted that wrong, because I felt like uh, Magneto, it was very much, I mean, they're both eloquent, right? They both got, Ian McKellen, and they have our Sir
Got dropped out.
down. And then they also have
No, it's just low.
Patrick Patrick Stewart playing Professor X. So they're both very eloquent, very articulate people. But I think the reason why Professor X, to me, it more so symbolizes Malcolm X is because of the name, but also because of the fact that he was, remember, he was immobile. Well, not immobile, but he's wheelchair bound, right?
Yes, that's right.
That that to me symbolize more of Malcolm X, because Martin Luther King, because he was a
Courtney, your
non-violent.
phone's going in and out. We can barely hear you.
Oh, it's not my phone. Yeah, it's not a phone. I don't know.
Oh, I mean, I'm sorry,
Can
your
you hear
mic.
me now? Yeah, I don't know what it is. Can you hear me okay now?
Well,
It's
like we can
going
hear
in
the
and out.
beginning part of your sentence, but then like you'll go out towards the end of it.
Okay, so let me
Yeah,
just keep it right here. So I
that's
think
like a
with
short in the mic.
Professor, oh, that might be true. I can see that. So with Professor X, I felt as though he mostly symbolized Malcolm X, because of the fact that Malcolm X was very limited, or people thought, he was very limited. He was limited with his thinking. They thought that he was limited. He had a more myopic, viewpoint, whereas they painted Martin Luther King as being more versatile. And when you think about Magneto, like he could be in situations to be anywhere and do anything. But Malcolm X, they thought, oh, he was just only looking at this picture this way. And so I think that that's also the way I get misunderstood. People think, because of the fact I've never had a license, I don't drive, they think that I'm really limited. But I have a great network of people. Like, do you think that I really got by all of these years with not being able to be mobile? So I think that a lot goes also into when you think of someone in a wheelchair, and when you think about he came from the background. He didn't have the background that Martin Luther King had. He didn't have a legacy like that, but he was able to create this on his own. And I think of and if anyone ever saw, the X-Men of the past, they saw the origin of Professor X, and I think that mostly that better matched with Malcolm X also, with kind of being a little bit more of a
I
a
think
little bit more of the origin.
I think we'll have to agree to disagree on that. I think Magneto's a little bit more like Malcolm X, but
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying, but I'm talking about what my point of view is, and it's who I'm putting myself as a superhero with. But definitely, I hear you. Okay,
I got a
so
question.
yeah,
Is Professor X the one with the broken bones? Like you can't touch him?
no, that's Mr. Unbreakable.
Oh,
That was
Magneto would be the one that has a magnetic telepathy.
no,
okay.
yes, yes, was Professor X the one with broken bones that you can't touch him?
That's Professor X.
No, the person that you can't touch him is Samuel L. Jackson played Mr. Unbreakable. What happened to Mr.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, Mr. Glass. Mr. Glass. That's
Mr.
who
Glass.
Samuel L. Jackson played. Was Mr. Glass, right?
Oh, okay.
Um,
See, I'm confused.
Hmm.
so fragile. He was born all broken up.
Right.
But yeah, so I thank you all for joining the panel today. We're gonna jump off, and we are. I'm so sorry, brother CK. His show is starting in literally a couple of minutes, so jump on to his live stream. I'm gonna drop that link again. Go ahead and post that link again, brother CK. So everyone can. I'm gonna highlight it so everyone can get on over. Absolutely. And you all, this has been a great glow show. We've had a really good time. I love the discussion. I love having you all a part of the MX Media Group and as part of the network. And until next time, y'all know what to do. Glow up.
All right.
all right, see y'all there.
See you there.